Hi everyone, welcome to Type Talks, and today we have our lovely guest, Crystal. Crystal, would you like to give a few words about yourself?
Hi, my name's Crystal. I'm an ENFP. I'm an Enneagram Type 4, and I frequently collaborate with Megan Lavoda on her channel. Megan is an ENFJ, and we have a podcast called Synchronic Saturdays, and I love talking about functions and type.
Oh, me too. We share that in common.
Wow, how serendipitous that we are here talking, having a type talk.
And today we're here to talk about being an intuitive in an Asian household.
Oh my gosh, yes. Love this topic. It's so juicy.
Yes, it is juicy. Before we start, I'd like to have a little disclaimer. If you are in any form of minority in your household, you will feel like misunderstood or in the intuitive role that we'll be talking about. Intuitives, they make up like roughly a quarter of the population, according to MBTI statistics. So people who take the official test, like 1/4 come out as intuitive. So in general, you know, the gist is that intuitives make up a minority sometimes in households, and this ends up in them kind of feeling like the black sheep of the house.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, but that isn't the case when an intuitive is in maybe a full intuitive house. Maybe they'll be misunderstood, but in a different way. Or maybe a sensor who is in a household full of intuitives will feel misunderstood too. So we're not saying that this experience is just for intuitives, that it can apply for anyone who feels misunderstood too, but we're just going to speak from our personal experience. So Crystal, I was wondering, what are the personality types of your household?
Okay, so my dad's an ISFP, my mom is an ISFJ, and my sister is an ESFJ. And I am the ENFP. So it's literally all SFs.
Oh, that's lovely. My household, my dad is an ISTJ, my mom is an ESFP, and my brother is an ESTP, and I'm an INFJ. So we have a lot of SPs in my family, and there's sensor dominants too. So they view the world very differently than me, even though they're all perceiver doms. So my household is full of perceiver doms.
Yeah, you're a perceiver dom too. That's really cute. 2 EPs and 2 IJs, even if things do conflict.
Yeah. It's really like swinging from chaos and control. My mom is the chaos monkey. She's bringing in like the new animals. We have like, I don't know, like 4 cats now and a dog. She brought in like 3 lobsters once and a sea crab. She got it like she got it for discount, like extreme discount, and it pissed off my dad so much because it's like, dang, dude, you're wasting money.
Wait, there's an FP, a TJ, a TP, and an FJ. That's really uniform. Yeah. For us, we have an EP, an IJ, an EJ, and an IP, which is cool.
Ooh, awesome. So how was your family dynamic like?
Oh God. So it was mostly my mom kind of being really controlling because my mom really likes her TI a lot. And on the other hand, my dad is like, he's like a really friendly and really adorable, like, I guess he's old now, but like, I still think he has a youthful spirit. And yeah, like it was his idea to come to the US, and he's always been really adventurous. He came out of the countryside in China, but like he really loved learning and really was kind of just a huge nerd despite being an ISFP. And my mom was kind of just a homebody. So I think my grandpa, my mom's side, is actually an ENTJ, possibly, or an INTJ or something like that. But like, either way, it seems like my mom felt like a little misunderstood by him because she wasn't like that into like liberal arts or intuitive stuff, even though my family on my mom's side is very much into that, but like she isn't into that. She totally is like fine with like having a simple life and just, you know, thinking that accomplishing peeling garlic faster in a day is something to be super proud of and like things like that. So our dynamic was basically she's a really critical, nitpicky person. My dad has become more nitpicky. I can tell that's not actually how he is, but like, yeah, like he just kind of like accepts her for how she is, and like they don't fight super often. They did a little bit more when I was younger, but like for the most part, I kind of grew up like identifying with my dad more and like seeing the similarities and kind of projecting that like my mom like looks down at both of us when she doesn't. She just has like a lot of TI questions or something. And I guess like you would say the most contentious relationship in the family is probably me and my mom, because we have like a super love-hate relationship, because especially as I got older, my TE would just crack down at how nitpicky her TI was being without fairly explaining things, and she would not like that. And like my dad tries to be the peacekeeper, but then he gets picked on by my sister, whose TI is really mean and like judgmental of him. And I think she's gotten it from my mom. So I basically feel like I'm the only one that sees everyone's perspective, but I'm not naturally someone who is going to be diplomatic. I'm very much like a call out kind of person, like very justice oriented. So I would say that like I'm probably not the hothead, but definitely the blunt one, like the really logical one in the family to some degree, because I just care a lot about TE, and my TE is the strongest of everyone there. So it's an interesting dynamic because, yeah, I have from a young age felt like I was kind of parenting them because my FI understood things I felt like they couldn't quite understand and own.
As an intuitive, did you ever like have your ideas reciprocated, or was there like missed signals? Like for me, I felt as an NI dom, like I just in my life in general, I feel like I'm kind of talking to walls in the sense like I'll say something, but it isn't actually listened to. So it's like, oh, it's like I'm talking, but it's like you don't have ears because you're clearly not listening.
Like, there's a difference between hearing me and listening to me. And I feel like they were always not very good at listening to me. And that really got to me. Like I like hit puberty when I was really young, and my mom like didn't bother explaining what a period was. So I literally had like existential crises for like most of my childhood, I think, because of that. And like, just, yeah, like, she would kind of like jokingly call me kind of like slow and dumb, but that really like eroded my self-concept and self-image, because I was like, why am I not good at like cooking and cleaning, and why don't I get things fast enough? And I say this all the time, but when I learned about type, I typed myself for a blind spot because I knew I didn't have TI, because my mom had been basically shaming me for my whole life because I both wasn't a sensor and also logical, not by her standards, but I'm highly efficient and good at what I do in my career because of it. So, yeah, like I just felt kind of like I would try to start explaining myself, and I could pick up instantly when they weren't listening to me anymore. But I'm the kind of person where I'm not going to fight you on like understanding me. Like if you don't want to, then like fuck you. So I guess I grew up really lonely, but really like I would rather be alone than with the wrong people pretending everything's okay, because I can't pretend. So super dramatic seeming. And even now, like, so I'm like actually trying to like start my own like spiritual entrepreneurial business, and I'm really good at tarot reading. My mom is kind of like, well, I mean, you are into all these liberal arts things, but like I fear that you'll never be happy because it'll never be enough. And those people like are all mentally ill and suicidal. And I'm just like, everyone's mentally ill, mom. Like I just like I'm good enough at Chinese to where I can have a conversation with her about something pretty sophisticated, and she'll be able to respond in her own words in her native language. So I like really understand how she thinks because she has firsthand explained it to me in Chinese. But I like hate how, despite the lack of a language barrier compared to other like Chinese American households, I still don't freaking understand her, but in this way where I don't think I ever fully will because of this functional difference. And it really makes me sad, but like I just kind of like tried to like accept that I also wouldn't have turned out the way I was in a good way if it weren't for being misunderstood all the time and having to fight for my self-concept. So yeah.
Yeah. I actually really do relate to the concept of fighting for your self-concept. But I guess like when I was in my household, this might be like an Asian household thing. I'm not saying all Asian households. There are very healthy Asian households too. Not trying to put everyone into a box. With my Asian household, what's really emphasized is practicality. And if what you're doing is not practical, like if you do not know how to, I don't know, cut an onion like intuitively, or like how to use like kitchen software without being taught. So a big emphasis is that like my parents don't really like teach you how to do like practical things because they expect you to already know.
Something doms are really snotty like that. Like my mom is definitely like that. My dad was way more patient with me though. But yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. So it's like my parents growing up, they would never teach me anything sensor-wise because it's like, it's common sense, Joyce. And so you're going to have to figure it out yourself. And I was like, this is the only thing that's not common sense to me. It's like day-to-day stuff. And I'm like, if you taught me this, I'd be like grateful for it because it's my area where I'm not that strong in. You come to me with a philosophical concept you want to break down, like, sure, like I'm your gal. That's common sense to me. But like
exactly.
knowing...
But, yeah, like it just makes you feel like so slow and so dumb. And you have to like grow up and like figure out your own manual for how to live life. And honestly, that's surviving the real life more than like living in your little bubble. Because my mom like is a huge introvert and never like talks to people. And I'm just like, Like, why are you so snotty when like I'm actually in society, and like in society, no one gives a fucking shit if you like can cut an onion right or not. And like, I think the main thing though was that until actually a few months ago, I had a lot of shame about the fact that I like was too like traumatized by cooking to even try to cook for myself, and not doing it a decent amount. But I had to figure it out my own way, and none of my mom's tips, which were not even that good, were gonna like cut it. Same with like your sensing Dom family members. She does not have the patience to teach anyone something that should just be common sense. And I'm like, you're just triggered that you don't understand how the world works, basically. And I do, because I'm an intuitive, so fuck you. So, like, I'm just like, you know, PNETE about it. So yeah.
That is very TE.
but I can't help but like judge, like, you stay in your box because that is what works for you. That is being smart. But me being in society and being charming enough to like have people help me with shit is also smart. And she said before, like, I really agree with that. Like when I said that, like, she's like, I mean, I never said you weren't smart in your own way. I'm like, yeah, but you call me dumb all the time. So of course it doesn't sound like you think I'm smart. Like, what the, like, ugh, TI. Like, I don't know. No offense, because I know that you have TI tertiary as well. You don't do probably necessarily that. But like, ISFJs, they literally are just like, my life is my SI and TI world, and that's it. I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of like in your household, your self-concept is determined by your blind spot TI. So it's like, it's going to be low.
That's why I resonated so much with not having TI. I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. But then like when I was like listening to like videos or podcasts or reading blogs about how people without TE felt really like bad, I was like, oh, well, I feel better now. I understand why I have like always gravitated towards TJs, because they give me what TI cannot. So yeah.
It's really interesting how like your mom like TI shames you. I'm sorry about that, by the way. But my mother also shames too, but it's in a different way. So she has SE as a dominant function. And that what she knows is that everyone is slower than her, in the sense that like SE DOMs, they react within like 0.01% seconds to anything. So my mom notices any sound, no matter where it is. She has the reflexes of a 20-year-old at 60. And she knows that everyone is slower than her at getting like stuff or noticing stuff, that she kind of sees it as their own form of dumbness. But it's like unfair to judge people by your dominant function. I mean, but like, my mom does use the word like, why is everyone so slow and dumb? Except me and your brother. And I'm like, whoa.
Wait, so it's funny because she has enough SE to like notice that she and your brother are like similar.
Yes.
So okay, what I will say though is like something about having like so many sensor family members is when I got older, I appreciated how sensors, or honestly even just anyone with SE, so even NJs, is like so observant. Like, of like similarities and like things like that. Like whenever, like I feel like NFPs especially, they always think they are like everyone else, and everyone else with better SE is like, no, you're not. Like, and it's so funny because sometimes they're like, oh, I think I'm this. Well, do you think you're like that person? Oh no, like they like can see those like differentiations literally. And I think NJs can do that too. So I really admired how my family, like I have learned to be like, you guys are dumb in your own way to like, you know, save my self-concept. But I do like still have like an appreciation for like, wow, I wouldn't have noticed that sound or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that's really cool that your mom can like recognize with her limited NI, but also SE, that like, haha, you and my brother are similar. Because my mom and dad always say, Crystal's like dad and Opal's like mom. And it's so weird how it's like they pick up like the type similarities. Like, I'm just like,
it's like you're talking about MBTI without knowing it.
Yeah, like my mom can tell that me and my dad are both FPs, and she can tell that she and Opal are both SFJs. I asked her about that because I was okay, dad's an SFP, I'm an NFP, can you see how we're different? She's like, oh yeah, totally. She was saying like in relativity, me and my dad are more similar, but like if you were to like, compare the two similarities, her and Opal are way more similar compared to me and my dad. Funny how you don't sometimes even need type to like understand these truths, but she's not going to take them and run with them. She's just going to use them to one off, be like, ah, my observation, okay, I'm going back to cooking now or something, you know? So yeah.
I completely relate. That people notice like typology, even if they don't call it that, which shows how true it is. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like it's
And
so interesting to observe.
Absolutely. And with my family dynamic, what I noticed about like my mom, who's an EP, and me, who's an IJ, what will happen is that my mom likes to do things last minute. So she really likes surprises and improvising.
Oh,
so she'll
no.
go like to my dad and to me, she'll go like, Joyce, I have a surprise for you. And then like she'll giggle because she knows like she shouldn't have, but she bought like, I told you she bought cats. So it's like, and then without telling anyone,
I have a surprise for you. I want to meet your mom. I want to meet an EFP Asian female who is old. That's so cute.
Yes. Spontaneity. Yeah, like she'll tell me 5 minutes before we're going to a nice restaurant, like, Joyce, like, wear your clothing right now. I'm in my PJs. And she's like, wear your clothes. We're going to like this town really far away, 2 hours away. And we're going to try the best sushi you've ever had. And I'm like, Mom, you gave me 5 minutes notice with everything, always.
And she's like, that's part of the fun, or something like that. I'm just like, wow. Dude, wait, it's so funny how we both have SFP family members though, because my dad, he's not like as spontaneous, but he still enjoys like spontaneity. He's just like, sorry, I have the urge to say it in Chinese, but there's not everyone speaks Chinese in the viewers, so I'll try not to do that. But he'll basically say, translated, I don't want to cook today, and it's a great day outside, so we're gonna go to a restaurant. And like he does that to me too, and like obviously because I am an ET as well, it doesn't like throw me off guard. What annoys me more is like, why do we always have to eat out? Or even eat, because like I'm just like whatever. Like whenever he visits me in LA, he's like, Crystal, what restaurant do you want to go to? Dad has so much money, I can treat you. And I'm like, that's not really my thing. I don't really eat out. Like, I mean, I do eat out, but like it's like for convenience more than like for the experience. And he does not understand that. He's like, oh, I want to connect with you. You don't like eating though. And then I'm like, oh my God, no, it's not that I don't like I'm just like, calm down, FI. Like that's like my thing with like the restaurant scenario. Cause that literally point blank happens to me. But I'll be like, okay, I can be ready, but I'm not really that hungry. I don't really know if I want to eat that food. He's like, what do you want to eat then? I'm like, I don't want to eat. Like, this is like so hard because like I have no SE. And so he's just like really sad. I'm like, don't take it personally, please. Like, I'm just like, I can't handle this much food. And he'll be like, are you okay? Like, are you depressed? Is that why you don't like consuming things? Is this why you don't like buy a lot of like clothes and makeup either? And I'm like, I don't know what to say to you because no, like I'm just like, oh. My mom will sarcastically be like, Crystal's ascending to like the 5th realm or something. And I'm like, well, in an NE sense, I do prioritize ascension of my soul. So are you really wrong? And I just like don't know how to like get through to them like who I am. It's not even that they don't understand. Sometimes it's just the effort of explaining how I am without them knowing type is so hard. Like they're like, are you sure you're not mentally ill? I'm like, I seem happy, right? They're like they were so confused by me. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah.
Yo, that's so true that like when parents don't know what the difference is, like sometimes they jump to like, my kid's mentally ill, I swear. There was this story of this kid who was an intuitive, but he was the only intuitive in his household. So his large family sent him to a psychologist because they're like, there's something wrong with him. And the psychologist is like, there's nothing wrong with your kid. And then they're like, no, you have to find something wrong with your kid. And it resonates so much with me because I think
the psychologist was an intuitive as well and was like, you'll go up to do great things, just survive for the next 10 years. And he's like, okay, I'm better now.
Because I relate to you. Like what you're saying is like something I've gone through. And like with my sensor family, like my mom sees bonding as like spending time with her, like, or like cooking, like
oh my God,
physical
yes.
things and like going to new experiences. And I'm like, Mom, that's lovely, but that's not what I consider like a bond or love. I see like love as transformation. It's like when you teach me a lesson or like you tell me something.
Oh my God,
that, like,
yes. I also have me. It's funny because she's a sensor dom, but she's like you and her are like opposites in it's like a similar relationship to like me and my mom. Like the exact kinds. Because it's like sensor intuitive split, and also her dom function is your inferior. It's like same here, and also TETI conflicting. So it's like the same stuff. Because I am also like, Mom, like come talk to me. She's like, no, and I'm like, okay. She's like, I don't see the point. My TI doesn't want to, and I'm like, it's so funny.
Like, wow, that's amazing.
She's like.
Yeah, you mentioned this concept about food and nutrition, and I was wondering, like, for intuitives, there's a different concept of where they get their nutrition. It's like through talking about abstract concepts.
Yeah, that is fueling me seriously. Yeah. When I'm depressed, I genuinely cannot eat, but when I literally feel like I can do anything and abundant with law of attraction or something, I eat so much. And so it literally is intuition for sensing. So if my intuition doesn't feel aligned, I guess I literally don't eat. But like the other way around, where if my mom's hangry, she will not engage with me philosophically. So it's like, what do you fucking want? So yeah.
Yeah, like they meet their physical needs before like that like spiritual need needs to be met. But like for intuitives, that spiritual need is non-negotiable. Like we need that.
Oh my gosh. Oh, non-negotiable, yes.
Or else we feel like dead inside.
We're arguably always dead inside, to be honest, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm like now getting hungry, like thinking about like all, but then it's like when I'm hungry, I also just only eat like a little bit, and that also concerns them. So I'm like, I can't make you happy either way, whether I'm not eating or I'm eating, but it's not enough. Like you're just, ugh. But then they also, to be fair, nitpick my sister who's like vegan. So like they nitpick her diet as well. So I'm just like, okay, like clearly no one can be pleased in this household. It's fine. And my sister's actually started, yeah, like I guess I haven't even talked about our siblings yet. It's mostly been with like our moms. Yeah. Like I'm just like, wait, what is it like with, I guess, the STs then? Because I only have SFs, but you have STs to deal with. How's that?
Oh yeah, it's like with STs, I guess I'll start by saying this. There's a lot of FI users in my household, or it's like a half-half. But like I noticed that with the Asian culture, it's very acts of service. And with like FI user, it already has like a slight bent towards like acts of service in the sense that like it'd rather show you or like instead of like directly tell you its emotion, but like Asian culture amplifies that times 1,000. So my parents have always been like, I want to show you that I love you through cooking dinner for you. It's my form of apology, and that's my form of communication.
Oh my God, yes.
About you. And I was like, this man, Asian culture.
I'm like, not enough.
Yeah, and I would say with STs in my household is they can be kind of blunt because like Asians in general are just very blunt. Asian people so like, or at least
especially dudes. Yeah. ST dudes.
Like, okay, I'm gonna like go a little honest and candid with you guys with this episode. But
yes,
like, Asian people sometimes in their own language, like they'll call you like they'll say like you have a disability or like you.
Oh my God,
I cannot say these words in a without getting flagged, but like it's normal language in the Cantonese culture to call you disparaging names like you fat pig or like it's normal, that's a pet name.
Like so like when I say dumb hands dumb feet, I'm like that's like a huge insult though. Like it sounds like, oh, that's interesting. Like that's not mild at all. Yeah, I get you.
Yes, it's like your pet name in an Asian household that is, you know, in this specific type, not all is like useless piece of, or like you good for nothing. But
they're like, why is that bad? I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to talk to you right now. I'm just like, I can't. I'm about to be gaslit.
I'm feeling so much solidarity with you.
I'm just like, yeah, solidarity, man. Yeah, like it's actually funny because like we want to have like an Asian roundtable or something with like JC and Nate or like maybe Yimin. So I'm just like, yep, we're gonna like, or we should really unpack this sometime. But it really does suck because like, I was like, you know, I'm like, Mom, like, what about like became the next like Lao Tzu or something, and she was just like, why would you aspire to be like that? I'm just like, oh, excuse you, he changed the whole canon of Eastern philosophy, excuse you. I was like, dang. She's like, wow, I really did give birth to a philosopher. And she was just like, God, please protect this very strange child. It's all in your hands now. And I'm just like, but she does mean it. Like, she's like, I mean, it's the only comfort I get is that you seem to have a connection with God or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, hello. Like, not everyone just dies or something if they're intuitive. Holy crap. Like, she's so afraid of that. Like, ugh. I think Asian culture is very based in conformity, though. Like, even if you're not literally speaking about, like, China, like, you conform or you die. Or you happen to become, like, Sun Yat-sen or, like, Chairman Mao, or I don't know. It's like, but like, those are 1 in a million. Are you 1 in a million? I'm like, you don't know. I'm not. So it's like, oh, okay. But like, it's just like, you know, like from their perspective, to be a sensor is to like have more like stability in life and to not like get your ass kicked by the government or I don't know, just all these like things. So yeah.
Yes. And if you aren't, it's kind of like you get outcasted by, or you like get called names until you do conform. It's either you conform or you get like shamed into conforming with like Asian culture.
Oh my
It's
God.
a real thing.
Yeah, you conform. You have to conform either way, or you like leave your household and take your own journey to the West or something.
Absolutely. And like Asian households and mental health is like to like, you know, hydrophobic eyewear where water just bounces off it. It's kind of like mental health is not acknowledged by the Asian culture. And, you know, one time my brother asked me like, my ESTP brother was like, okay, I'm not saying all ESTPs are like this. They're very kind, loving ESTPs. But one time, you know, I was being like a little sad and my brother was like, are you depressed? And I was like, oh, and I'm like, I guess, yeah. And then he was like, you know, depressed people deserve to die. And I think you should kill yourself. He told me to kill myself.
He probably was like, this isn't insensitive at all. I'm just saying, like, maybe it's better for you. And it's like, dude, like, he wasn't even like being like, oh, how dare you? He's more like, you know, I think depressed people should die. Like, it's like so just like TI, like, I think that makes sense. It's like, oh my gosh, everyone at FI is like, like it's like I can like swallow my automatic knee-jerk repulsion because I like understand how TPs work now, but I'm like, holy crap, that is like so well-intentioned and totally the wrong thing to say at the same time. It's so bad. And if you tell them that, they're like, nah. Yeah. They don't like listen to you. They don't go, oh, I should be thinking more about that person. I'm like, geez, okay. Like, because TVs will be like, no, I don't want to baby you. The hard truth is, I was like, okay, man. Oh my God.
It's like, right? I just wanted to let you know that maybe they should all die. And I was like, that's a little extreme and, you know, not what my emotions need right now. But yeah.
It's so funny, you know, how like as an NFJ, you're like, I see what you're doing. It's not working. But an FP would just like cry and be like, I'm never talking to you again. It's like so different, but still hurts. Yeah.
I like take a bird's eye view and I'm like, what does he really mean?
Yeah, what does he really mean? Oh, wait, it doesn't matter because I'm still upset.
And like, yeah, and like Asian households sometimes are insensitive towards emotions in the sense when I was a little kid, when I would cry, they would lock me into the washroom until I'd stop crying. I'm like, that's not how
we did that to my sister too. I think it's like an FJ thing because like I was never locked. I honestly would just hide my face when I cried because I couldn't handle people staring at me confusedly. So I would just like go in the corner and just cry or something. And
I emo out loud. Yeah, I just emotionally show
because FJ, you're an FJ. Even though now you're like, hi, I'm Joyce, like super introverted. Back then it's like, ah! It's like, oh God, okay, we don't know how to deal with this. I wonder if my mom was like as a kid then, because she's totally an FJ. Like maybe my grandpa who's a TJ was like, oh my God,
lock you until you stop crying. You know,
he was like, that's not how you. It's funny because my mom used to roughhouse with my uncle. And now she's just like the most mild mannered. Wait, I don't want to say submissive, but just like keeps to herself. She is like just really bitchy and like really honestly kind of badass, but she's very like to herself. It's like a very interesting combo. Like I definitely think that like I feel like I value thinking a lot as a feeler, even if I didn't have the conditioning, because I just like TE. And I think that's how she feels about her TI. Like she will turn FE on when she needs to, but she's not going to naturally, like she is just basically as straightforward with TI as I am with TE, which is why we would clash like a lot and it wouldn't make any sense because we're still both feelers. So I had to really learn to use FE to like coax her and like pacify her and like keep her happy. Like, oh, okay, mama, okay. Like just because I've heard this reminder 75 times telling her that apparently it doesn't make her stop talking any faster. So I'm just gonna baby her until she stops. And that actually has improved our relationship. So that's the key in the hack. You have to literally use your intuition to reach even further into your crevices of your brain and find something sensing to bond with each of your family members. And it's so much emotional labor, not gonna lie. But you have to be like, I am better than you because I can do both. Or I don't even know, like that's honestly the rationalization I've employed, which I know sounds bad probably to FETI, but like to me, like genuinely feeling like I have a bit of a superiority complex just balanced me out as opposed to genuinely made me start doing like power trips on them. So I think like that's the best advice I would just have for anyone, I guess, who is an intuitive stuck in a sensor household, and especially if it's an Asian one. But yeah.
Yeah, for me, I guess my piece of advice would be sometimes, you're born in a family, like whatever the reason is that you feel incompatible with, and that to acknowledge that you can find a family away from family too, that,
Oh, yeah.
sometimes water runs thicker than blood or something like that. If you don't feel like you belong somewhere, it's that like for your own mental health, you have to figure out and find people who do accept you for who you are, or else your self-concept will take a hit. And the thing is, you, at the end of the day, have to live with yourself. And if your self-concept is shit, like, oh man, I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, so true. It's so true, really, though, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you got to protect your self-concept, because when you start to have a negative opinion of yourself, sometimes you don't notice that it's caused by the environment. And you think that it's something to do with you, but it really doesn't have to do with you. It's just what you're immediately around makes you feel not enough.
So true. Yes.
Yeah.
So true.
To gauge what makes you generally feel lighter and what makes you feel generally heavier, and to use that as a way of finding the people you belong with and that make you feel happy is like, does this person make me feel lighter, or does this person make me feel heavier? And you can still love people who make you feel heavy, but it's like to spend less time with them, because what you're feeling energetically shows how it impacts you in the long term. So if something is light, it's more likely to impact you positively long term. And that, like, to take care of your future is to also take care of the things that, if they weigh on you, to be around that less, and if they are lighter, to have more of that, because overall this will affect you later on. So
no, that makes total sense to me. I left my hometown and I went to school in Missouri, and then I moved around the Midwest, and then came to LA, and I don't live like near them. And like I do think that like finding my own niche in the world away from that, like, and starting over really did empower me, and to also be choosy about who I want to like invest in as my family, away from family who can validate and support me, even if my blood family, flesh family can't do that. But yeah, like I think that just at the end of the day, the cultural thing is like a big thing that really does impact things. Because I think that like, I don't know, dude, I sometimes just like see like all these ENFPs who aren't Asian, white ENFPs, honestly, and like they are so shocked sometimes when people don't think that they're competent or think that they're whatever. And I can just tell they've kind of been coddled. I'm just gonna be blunt, that they've kind of been a little coddled. And I think they have some better mental health aspects than me. And I have some friendships with them that like, they've really shown me how to like have faith in my FI again. But I also think that they're very naive compared to me. And so I'm actually like sort of backhandedly grateful that like, as we said, fighting for your self-concept, like I just know more about the world, and because I've had to analyze it way longer, because I guess opposition does make for a stronger sense of like foundational truth, and like that's really essential to like being a human being functioning in Western society when so much strange shit happens. And I think that at the end of the day, Asian household prepares you to have a life only in that Asian household. And outside of the box, I really think that a lot of essential social skills and like mental health management skills, they never taught you, and they will never learn those on their own because they have gotten their life in a rotation to where they'll never need to. But we are younger and we have more going on now generationally, and it's more a burden for us to have to step up and learn. So that's kind of like my piece with it.
Yeah, completely agree. And I would say back to the point about feeling like the minority in your household, that if you have a minority mindset, like even if you are the majority in like being a censor or anything, if your mindset is in the minority, it'll cause you to feel very ostracized or like separated from wherever you are. And that, as a person who values mental health, and you do too, Crystal, to be in a culture that sometimes overlooks the value of mental health, it can like kind of cause a clash, because then, when that subject comes up, it's going to be like, well, I think it should be approached this way. And then they'll get triggered. And then it's like, well, they're never going to listen because they favor getting triggered than listening. So then it never really gets through.
Yeah, like they're not curious in the way that I feel like I wish they were. And I also get that like not all senses are like this. Like, in fact, two of my life coaches right now in my life are literally two sensors who are very, very perceptive, very, very worked on their intuition, very, very care about it, but they also are like my age, you know, it's like just so different generationally and such. So
yeah. So I would say like sensors are great. We're not bashing on sensors, but what we're talking about is like being in the minority in any sense. There are a lot of sensors who have my mentality too, and I get along with them very well because we share like beliefs about how people should approach mental health, or like just beliefs that, you know, every human life is worthy and that you shouldn't put down human life, you know. And when people don't share these beliefs, it causes like friction naturally.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And like, I do think though that also ironically having sensor family members that I felt misunderstood by made me appreciate the sensors I have met who aren't like that. And in fact, I'd say like sometimes they really resonate with me more than even like say intuitives do. But yeah, it is like at the end of the day, it is like I like what you said about minority mindset, where it's like if you are just focusing on like your oppression in a sense, you will continue to feel oppressed. But if you focus on like, I guess like the possibility that there's other people out there like you, and this is not just the entire world, that's more empowering.
Yeah, you will find your people. And you will feel and I feel like in our homes, it's the first place where we learn how to blend. So like, you know, we're born as ourselves, and then as we grow, we learn it's not okay to be ourselves. So it's the first area in life where we feel the pressure and the shame that causes us to want to blend with people rather than to be ourselves. And the issue comes is when we're at home and we're learning that, you know, certain things aren't okay about us. And we bring this out into our actual lives and we forget how to be ourselves. I know like FI is known as authenticity, but I think like everyone has their own form of authenticity too that's like stripped away from them when they're young. But some people keep it. It's good to have a place where you feel like you don't have to blend because, you know, Brene Brown talks about how, you know, to be yourself, to fit in, like they're not like, I don't know. I think Megan Lavoda brought it too up to where it's a false dichotomy to have to sacrifice who you are to belong. So you can be yourself and you can belong too. But like people, they learn early on that they cannot be themselves to belong. So they learn this false dichotomy that they live by, but it's all about like unconditioning yourself. So a lot of life is unlearning what you know. So it's like unlearning. So true. Yeah, so it's like unlearning that, you know, you couldn't be yourself. So you learn to have that aspect while also being in your environment and belonging. So it's like together and it's integrated instead of put into a false dichotomy.
No, I really agree with that. That makes so much sense. Definitely.
Yeah. And I guess, is there any other point you'd like to bring before we close off for today?
I think that's all I wanted to say about this. I'd love to hear from other Asian NFs about this topic because I definitely think it's like something that has been on my mind a lot over the last few years since I got into type, because I was like, gosh, Asian culture really is like a freaking like minefield of just like social faux pas, and a lot of, I think, Asian intuitives feel very discouraged, and I would really like to change that culture. So yeah. Yeah, it has its great places too, but it also has its like toxic mentalities that it perpetuates. So true, too. Yes. Oh my god. We're just, you know, probably trying to address in this episode too. But, I would love to talk about this more as an ongoing conversation with like more Asian Americans who are into typology as well, but yeah, totally. Yeah. So if you're an Asian American or you're just anyone in or I guess Asian Canadian too, because American. Sorry, I keep well, it's okay, definitely. So if you have an experience in your household that you'd like to talk about down below too, feel free to share your experience and let us know about your dynamic and some lessons you learned from it and some places you could see it becoming better. So yeah. Yay! Our life experiences are good not only for like teaching us, but they also teach us what not to be too. So if you've been through something where you're like, oh, you know, you can always get some gold nuggets from it, because it either, as a situation either teaches you what to be or it's what not to be. So it's like you either learn the lesson directly or you learn it indirectly, as in like, this is something that I don't want. But so yes, something to take away from anything, even if it's painful or not. So yeah, I'll leave you guys with that. I'll stop my rant, but thank you guys. Oh, you're fine, Joyce. Come on, we love hearing from you. INFJs never talk enough on the internet.
you. And if you guys want to catch up with Crystal, she has a channel of her own, and she's on Synchronic Saturdays on Megan Lavoda's podcast and on her YouTube channel as well. If you like this video, like and subscribe to my channel, and also check out Crystal because she contributed to the success of this episode. So check her out.
Thank you so much again, Joyce. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I just love talking to you in general too. So
yeah, no, we have so many good conversations about like being NFs and like being people who are perceivers first, because sometimes the ENFJs, INFPs aren't quite on our level of like deeper into a rabbit hole. So yeah.
I love how blunt TE is. It just like says it as it is.
I mean,
afraid to
I really do. I mean, I have like 8 in my tri-type, which is also why I keep saying it like it is. I'm like, haha, called out. So yeah. Me roasting each of the types, even without T, I can do it. So yeah.
Yes, definitely. So thank you for being my feisty ENFP friend. I really appreciate our conversation.
Oh, I appreciate you too. Thank you so much for opening up to me about like your family, because I know that as an INFJ, you guys can be very private. So it's like a real act of courage to, say and put something on the internet and not like be like afraid. So I really want to give you props for that, because this was a really meaningful conversation, and like I've only really gotten to talk to Nate, my ENFP friend, about it. So talking to you is really great.
I shared it because I thought we could relate over it, and I was like, this will help our relationship.
Yeah, definitely. Because like sensors, yeah, it's also one intuitive, all sensors. It's a lot, yeah.
I feel yeah, and the Asian culture compounded onto that. Like,
oh my god, right? Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny how we have a weird parallel with our moms, where like it's like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe someday I'll meet them. I'll be like, hey, I'm so charming. They'll be like, oh, look at that little FI user. Like, I mean, I don't know, but yeah.
I think you guys had fun. My mom knows like every hotspot, like the best food at the best prices.
Oh my god, dude, SFP aunties love me though. Like all my dad's SFP like friends are just like, oh, Crystal's so charming. Oh, Crystal's so profound. It's so funny because like when it's not your own kid, they like think my NE is cool. Yeah. Last thing is my dad's never shamed me for having NE. He just seems a little like lazy about trying to stretch himself to meet me where I'm at. But I do appreciate that having an FP dad really did help me be as blunt as I am. So wanted to say that. So yeah.
That's great. And you mentioned this other Asian dynamic where they compliment kids who aren't their kid. So it's like, as long as it's not my kid, no matter what the accomplishment is, no matter how small, I will say it's amazing. But if it's my own kid, like, if you compliment my kid, I will deny it because my kid has
it's not that bad. Yeah, so funny. Yes, and that is across all the types. They all are like this. There is no type of discrimination with that. Yeah, and like. It's funny because, like, I would say that, like, at the end of the day, I do appreciate being intuitive in that community. I am fascinated with these people because of my background and, like, what I've gone through. And I'm so charming. And I can speak Chinese. So at the end of the day, I still am the favorite kid in the community, like, by far. So whatever, bish, I'm a real person compared to all the others. They're like, they go to me for advice when they're, like, clashing with their kids. They'll go, hey, to my dad. They'll be like, can I talk to Crystal? I'm like, ha, that's right. That's right. It gets better. Yeah. My redemption for all those years that I was on. Yeah. So yeah. I thought this is an Ivy League school. Yeah.
Yeah. You're very entertaining. So I can see why a lot of people would like you.
Yeah. When I speak Chinese, I sound like a Beijing announcer. And people are like, style amazing. And I'm like, this is my only trump card for how inferior I feel. So yeah.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. It's how to get in good rapport with Chinese parents is to speak Chinese very well. And then like they'll instantly like you like 50 times more.
I hacked the system. From a young age, I knew that if I learned Chinese better, that was my one-way ticket to lifetime of validation. So that's why I'm like, at the end of the day, in a clash with them, my Chinese saves my ass because they can never be like I'm a bad kid or stupid because I do speak Chinese better than most of the kids like in our community. Like, ha ha ha. So yeah. Okay, well we're gonna end it probably on that note.
That's cool. Yeah, that's great. My reason for sharing all of these personal experiences of mine is that I know that I'm a very private person and that I just want you to guys to feel a little closer to me because I know that I tend to accidentally hold back too much about myself. So I wanted to like let you know these things about my life. in case you guys related or in case you guys wanted to know a little bit more about me and to like know me as an individual, not just as the announcer of Type Talks. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We have our lovely guest, Crystal. She is fantastic, amazing, and very, very like lovely with her pink headphones. It just it matches the cheerful vibrancy of her inner emotional life. So thank you, Crystal, for taking time out to be on the show. If you like this, like and subscribe. I love you guys, and thank you, Crystal, for being on. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.